Hey y'all, Scott here. It is laundry season. Seems like everybody's cleaning their clothes these days. I'm not one to go against trends. I'll do it.
Okay, I did clean my pencils out with this, so it might not be ideal for the gears.
Well, while I wait for that to heal up, why not tell a story to pass the time? This is the story of a brown-haired white boy with glasses. Guess who? And one day, he decided to talk about video game delays. Want to hear some useless shit? Video games are funny. They take 12 years to develop and they stink. You ever announce a video game and its release date of yesterday when you only have like 8 minutes of work done? Well, you're a video game company. Looks like you need a delay, a cold hard fact every studio has to face at some point. Nothing kills the mood more than that for fans, but it's a necessity. Rushing a game just means the developers are going to be scrambling and the consumers are going to get garbage. It's almost always a good thing when a delay occurs, even if it stings a bit. But, as somebody who watches the video game industry like a hawk, I can sense things. My 5 senses are at dangerous levels. You ever see me taste lemonade? If you pay attention enough, you can always tell when a delay is about to happen. If it just doesn't seem right, the game will come out that quick. It's impossible. Like, we've barely seen anything. Studios refuse to comment on the game's status. The development building burnt down. Something's fishy here. Now, there's a difference between games that get delayed and games that languish in development hell. Development hell is more so games that just take forever to get made, while games with numerous delays, I mean, they take kind of long, but come on, it isn't that bad. Take, for example, Mighty Number 9. No. This is a game notorious for the amount of delays it experienced, but when all was said and done, I mean, it only took roughly 2.5 years to release from the initial announcement. The way most people talk about it implies it took forever to come out. Well, in dog years, yeah. No, what really annoyed people about Mighty Number 9 was the amount of delays. See, they started a crowdfunding campaign for a spiritual successor to Mega Man and decided to offer players a whole country if the game got funded, plus a Wii U version. Due to the sheer success of the campaign, they kept offering stretch goals. So if we reach this amount, we'll tuck you in, and if we reach this amount, we'll spit on your foot. That made the game more complicated than necessary to develop. What once was a game that was supposed to release in April of 2015 became a game set to release in September 2015. And then February 2016. And then spring 2016. And finally June 21st, 2016, which is technically when summer begins, so it didn't even meet the spring deadline. You really couldn't have released it a day earlier? In the end, Mighty Number 9 was one of the sloppiest looking games of the year, not living up to expectations and numerous delays kept raising. Well, I'm sure the delays made the game better. They were more so indicative of a troubled development rather than wanting more time to make the title the best it could be. I'd consider a game like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild to be delayed for the latter reason. It may have had trouble development, we don't know. Somebody might have pissed themselves at the office, but the numerous delays this game experienced felt more so because that was just what the project demanded. This game did so much that required tons of research, testing, and it was no small game, so the extra delays made sense. This didn't. Breath of the Wild was first talked about in January of 2013, then shown for the first time in June of 2014, ending with the projected release year of 2015. Was that really necessary? Did you just have to say, oh yeah, it's coming next year? Wasn't the teaser enough? And they were pretty adamant this would release in 2015, even affirming it during a gameplay demo in December 2014. But then that brought us to March 2015. If you ever seen Nintendo employees stand like this, fucking run. To be fair, Eiji and Numa stated here that while it was probably possible for the game to release in 2015, they just had so many new ideas they wanted to cram into the game and preferred just not focusing on trying to meet a 2015 release deadline. The thing was, they never said it was delayed, they just were making a 2015 release their priority. Well, that means there's still a chance, right? Well, yeah, but God hates Nintendo fans, so it makes things tricky. The entire year, we got nothing on the game until November 2015, where they said, yep, in 2016, it's coming. Nintendo, stop typing years, you're not good at it. So in 2016, we finally got substantial footage and the official title, and in January of 2017, we learned its official release date of March 3rd, 2017. So formally announced 4 years prior, roughly 2 delays. I mean, it's obvious these delays were to add tremendously to the game and not 100% due to poor planning or management. Sure, the delays hurt, but it didn't matter in the end. You weren't playing Breath of the Wild because I'm so glad this released in 2015. You were playing it because it was Breath of the Wild. And that shows why delays are almost always good. Like, would this game be that much better if it released on January 26th compared to January 28th? When I'm planning to die on the 27th, yes. I think game delays are a big talking point because it's obviously a little embarrassing for the game developers and publishers to go through that. Final Fantasy 15 had an entire event dedicated to celebrating it finally getting a release date of September 30th, 2016. which made the delay to November that much funnier. But hey, that's only about 2 months worth of a delay, which that amount of time, it's pretty crazy how much of a difference it can make. 2 months in game development time is almost nothing. I think they noticed they misspelled final on the title screen and had to delay. But if 2 months is really that big of a deal to you, you really need to reevaluate your priorities. Look who told you that. Don't get me wrong, some game delays can be stupid annoying, which is why I like to rate my game delays on the come the on meter. Rayman Legends. Everybody loved Rayman Origins. Except for Shakers, I don't think they had a chance to play. A sequel to one of the generation's defining 2D platformers was announced as an exclusive for the Wii U in 2012 and was set to be a launch title, though it got delayed to February 2013. So, one delay in, but it's no big deal. The Wii U launched with New Super Mario Bros. U. I'll wipe the throw up from my mouth, but you got a very capable 2D platformer at launch with that game already. I think February suited Rayman Legends a bit more. Come on, what else happened in February that year? The Pope resigned? A good time to release Rayman. But shortly before that release date, Ubisoft announced they were delaying Rayman Legends to September 2013 so they can make the game not a Wii U exclusive, and rather, release it on other consoles as well. Oh, come the on! So Ubisoft decided it wasn't a good idea to make Rayman Legends exclusive to the Wii U because their other exclusive Wii U title, Zombie U, underperformed. Listen, yeah, multi-platform's the way to go for these developers, I get it, but reconsidering if Rayman Legends, a family-friendly 2D platformer, should be exclusive to the Wii U, mainly because an M-rated first-person survival horror game didn't do as well as you wanted, I feel is a little bit super fucking stupid. But then Ubisoft acted like everybody loved when Rayman Legends was announced, but when all these fellas heard it was Wii U exclusive, man, the PlayStation and Xbox gamers, they were sad! We can't let them not have this game they probably don't care about! Well, the game was done in time for the original February release date. Ubisoft forced Wii U owners to wait 7 months to play this game, just so PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 owners could play it at the same time. See, that wouldn't be so bad if Ubisoft didn't constantly release games during that era that came out for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, but not the Wii U. Oh, so when PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 owners are disappointed that a Wii U game is only coming out for the Wii U, well, let's rip it away from Wii U fans and give them what they want. When Wii U owners are disappointed a PS3 and 360 game isn't coming out for Wii U, well, what did they expect? They bought the Wii U. They ended up releasing the game on September 3rd, 2013 for PC, PS3, Xbox 360, PlayStation Vita, and Wii U. Yeah, delay the game so you don't release it on a failed console to release it on 2 failed consoles. It didn't do that well at launch, and honestly, it makes total sense. Wii U owners were ready for Rayman Legends in February. I mean, there was nothing else to play in the first half of 2013. I think a good chunk of early adopters of the console would have jumped on it if it released in February. When you release it in September, all these games were coming out not only for all platforms, but on Wii U, we had Pikmin 3, Wonderful 101, Wind Waker HD, Wii Party U. Rayman Legends could have had a few months all to itself, and I guarantee you it would have garnered more attention. Instead, it sort of got lost in the shuffle because they delayed it, which in my opinion is one of the few examples of delay sort of backfiring. I don't think it entirely did. The game was great, it just released at a busy time. I would have recommended releasing the Wii U version on time in February, then releasing the other platform versions at a later date. There was speculation that Ubisoft couldn't do that because Microsoft had a policy where multi-platform games have to release the same day or earlier on Xbox platforms, or just straight up can't release on Xbox at all. I don't know, I've seen numerous examples of that not occurring. I don't really know why Rayman Legends would have been treated differently like that.
I think it's ready. Might as well test it out by cleaning some forks.
There are some studios that almost always delay their games. If a release date seems too good to be true, it is. Rockstar originally revealed that Red Dead Redemption 2 was coming in holiday 2017, and then first half of 2018. It released in October. Grand Theft Auto 5 was delayed, Grand Theft Auto 4 was, the original Red Dead Redemption was. You'd think they'd learn not to set a date, but it's almost a tradition that certain studios and franchises delay their games, like with Zelda. It's almost like every single home console major 3D Zelda title has been delayed in some way, shape, or form. And then there's Spore. Don't be like Spore. Delays can infinitely raise expectations. If the developers have so much more time, this better be the best game it could possibly be. I now have nothing to do in 2007, Spore! I think that's what happened with Mighty Number 9. I mean, all those delays and this is what we got? Crowdfunded indie games have it rough in this department. They almost always get the release dates pushed because there's only like, what, 4 people working on them? But because they're crowdfunded, because they receive donations ahead of time, there are loads of people that expect the world from these games. Sure, Shovel Knight received over $300,000 and was delayed a few times and came out phenomenal, but $300,000 isn't a lot for a game. It's insane they were able to make it on that budget. So for people to look at Kickstarter games as if they're expected to live up to being delayed numerous times, I don't know. I mean, we know what the budget is ahead of time. If anything, that should set your expectations better. But no, these games are often scrutinized the most for delays. But when Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered took 2 years to come out, not as many people bitched. I found that to be pitiful. This is a remaster of a GameCube game announced in September 2018 that was set to be released a year later. That's already sort of pathetic, but it got delayed past January 2020 and finally released in August of 2020 and was dog shit. But of course, my favorite game delay is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It was announced for November 2013, got quietly delayed to December 2013, and then Nintendo said they needed more development time, so they delayed it to February 2014, and the developer said, "We don't know what they're talking about, the game's done." It was obviously pushed because, kinda like with Rayman Legends, having Donkey Kong in February gave it time to breathe and be the only talk of the town. I remember people acting like Nintendo really f***ed up again because Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was coming out in February. You really thought Nintendo was doomed because you couldn't play Donkey Kong in December? Did you really think that was gonna push the Wii U over the edge with the new PlayStation and Xbox launching around the same time? Yeah, this might have Need for Speed, but the Wii U has a Donkey Kong game coming out in December. Any other month, I wouldn't give a fuck. I do believe many overreact to delays. I think it's more than fair to be disappointed, but there's obviously more good that comes from delays most of the time. Even when nearly all the examples I gave fucking stunk. But come on, I mean, ooh, Persona 5 was delayed a bunch. Doom Eternal, wasn't that supposed to come out in November? Duke Nukem Forever, I'll shut up. Video games require more work than nearly any other form of entertainment, and more problems pop up randomly. Bugs, glitches, design flaws, new ideas are too easy to not throw into a game midway through development, so developers are like, let's add this. Though it'll increase the development time as a whole by a lot, that doesn't happen nearly as much with any other medium. It just makes sense that games get delayed. They're too complicated to not get delayed. And yeah, the idea that you now have to wait another month or two to play a game you really want to play, it's kind of lame, but that gives us more time to play all the other games that released 30 years ago. Cyberpunk got delayed, I still have yet to play Dino Ricky. I think while many artists strive under having a deadline, having too strict of a deadline can obviously negatively affect the end product. Most games can release at any point in time and they'll be fine. Of course, games like Pokemon, well, they have to come out at a certain time because of all this other merchandise and media tie-ins releasing to coincide with it. That makes delays hard to do, but if you even have to entertain the idea of one, it's probably in your best interest to do it. Because Family Feud on Nintendo Switch really needed it. Did you really have to release it when you did? This is horrible.
Well, after numerous delays, I've decided to cancel the laundry, but don't you worry. I think everything will work out just fine for our brown-haired white friend.
Game delays are inevitable for all developers, and most of the time, I think they're highly respectable. It takes guts to admit, hey, we need more time. And sure, some are annoying, most are definitely disappointing, but in the end, I think most delays are for the best. It's not like real life where pushing something off till later will get you in deep trouble. Huh.